What's going on? It's Nate. We're back with another video today. This one's a little different. We're going to talk about money today. We're going to be talking about how I made almost $2,400 in one day from my phone. It took me about 2 minutes. Actually, I didn't do anything. This day when I made $2,400, I did nothing. So I could have been asleep the whole day. Obviously, I was awake. I wake up early every day, but I didn't do anything. I bought it the day before, and then I bought this on February 4th. On February 5th, it blew up, and I woke up and I was like, holy smokes, this is crazy. And it just kept going up and up and up. It was actually comical. Like, it was actually crazy. Everyone in my group were all like, what is even going on? We were first joking when we bought it. We're like, BBAI to $10 and it almost hit 11. Like, we were completely joking. But that's how crazy this strategy is, you're going to hit these stocks where you're going to get crazy returns. I got over 100% return on shares in like 3 or 4 days. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. So I just kind of want to talk about what that was like, how I did it, what I bought, when I bought it, how I was able to profit that much. And yeah, so this was on February 4th. So this was about a month ago. So I was 19 years old when this happened. And I was like, I don't even know what's going on. I say that as if I'm that much older. I'm 20. I just turned 20 like a few days ago. So, but this was a month ago. Okay. So, yeah, so I made $2,400 in a day from my phone. I didn't do anything. So I could have been asleep. I could have been out of town the whole time. I don't know. I mean, I didn't do anything. So let's get into exactly what went down. So the ticker that made me this money was BBAI. It was an AI stock. AI stocks have been hot for quite some time now. The AI bubble, ChatGPT, AI is everywhere. It's continually growing. So it's a really hot sector, which is key when it comes to making big money with the strategy I use. So right here on the left-hand side, this is the daily chart. So each one of these candles is a day. And then on the right side, this is an hourly chart. So each one of these represents 1 hour. So we bought it on February 4th, which I believe was this candle, right? So you can see how we had a tightening range right here. It was building higher lows, right? We had a low right here, a low right here, a low right there. And it kept, making higher lows, which is what we want, because higher lows with lower highs means it's kind of, you have to think of stocks almost, I don't know how to explain it, but basically they're building pressure. So if it's building higher lows and lower highs, that means it's kind of flagging. And so the stock's going to either break up or break down at this point. So the strategy I use is we're buying it when it breaks out. So when it's showing strength and then it kind of coils up, and then we want to buy it when it bursts out, and then we ride the momentum, and then once the momentum dies, I sell it. So yeah, so we bought it on the 4th, which was this candle right here. And this day, I don't think I was up too much because by the time we were able to get into it, because there's a strategy of when we buy it. And so by the time we bought it, I don't think it really did too much. But we knew this stock had a ton of potential because it was AI and it was a smaller cap stock, which small cap AI stocks have crazy potential, but also they have potential to stop out, right? So I'm not here to say this is some beautiful strategy with just rainbows and unicorns. Like, there's a lot of trades that lose, but when you win and your winners are 100% profit on your shares, you're doubling your money, right? That cancels out all of my losers for the whole year. So, and then you obviously have more than one winning trade. So obviously the strategy works. I use a profitable strategy, but I just don't want people to think that, you see a stock breaking out and then you're just going to make a bunch of money and everything's going to be good. No, because there's stocks that break out and then they fail and you lose and you stop out. So, like I said, I just don't want this to be like a false fantasy that I'm saying this, but so yeah, so we bought it here and it didn't do too much this day. And then on the 5th, which was, if you saw the thumbnail, the screenshot, that was this day. So I was up pretty crazy. I think I woke up and I was already up $1,500 before the market even opened. So I literally woke up and I was up in $1,500 of profit. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can get used to this. And then it just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. I was up $2,400 at one point. I bet you can imagine how much I was up when we were up here at like $11. But the strategy, I think I was up about 5,000 at that point. But the strategy, so I sold some as we go up. So we trimmed some on the 5th just because it blew up so much so fast. So we wanted to secure some profits. And then we moved our stop loss to break even so that even if, we secured some profit, and then if it were to stop out, we're not losing money. So no matter what, we're making money, right? That's always a good situation to be in. And so then we held it for a few more days. It hit $11, and we're trimming some throughout this, but we're like, holy smokes, like, this thing's just going crazy. And then the market kind of tanked, or started correcting itself, and then we sold it when it closed below the 10-day moving average, which was here. So I ended up securing about 2,400 profit. Like I said, I was at like 4,000 or something crazy, or 5,000. But you can never time the top, right? And so who's going to try to time it? If you try to time it, you're going to fail. Sometimes you'll get lucky. I mean, you might be able to sell it at the top, but usually it's just not something you can repeatedly do, right? Nobody knows the top or the bottom. And so this is the method I found that is best, right? So if you're selling it once it closes below the 10-day moving average, that's showing that it lost momentum. So I was still able to secure like 2,400 bucks profit. And so my position size was about 2,700, I want to say. I could pull it up, but I just don't want you guys to be bored with how long it takes for me to pull up the information. I'll try to talk while I do it. So yeah, so I believe it was 800 shares at that time. Okay, I should have it right here. Where is it? Okay, yeah, I bought 800 shares at $4.70. So that was a total cost of, let me see if it tells me. It doesn't tell me. Let me pull up a calculator. 4.7 times 800. Okay, so I put 3,700 in it. So, but I was, okay, so now this is where it gets a little confusing. And people who don't trade, this is kind of where they get lost. So I had a $3,700 position size, right? So that was my total position. But I wasn't risking $3,700, right? So I had my stop loss at the low of day on the day we bought it. So if it were to stop out, if it were to fail, I would have lost $200. So I was only risking 200. So I know I had more than 200 in the stock, but if the stock fell, I would lose 200, right? Because once it hits a certain number that I set, it sells it right away, and then I lose my 200 bucks, and it's over with. So I had 3,700, and the stock went from 470 to 10. I think it hit almost $11, like 10.90 at one point. So I was up over 4,000 on it. And obviously, yeah, it's like, oh, I wish I would have sold at the top, but you don't know. And so this is just the way the strategy's been proven over time, where you can get the best result, where you can make the most amount of money as possible, but you're never gonna be able to time the very, very top. So yeah, so that's really, I know it sounds too good to be true, but yeah, so I woke up, I was up like 2,400 bucks, and I was like, wow, okay, this is pretty crazy. And then it kept going. And then, I sold it once. I kept trimming throughout, and then I sold it once it closed below the 10-day moving average. And yeah, so I closed out and secured my profits. And then, as you can see, that's why it's so important. A lot of people have the problem of, once they're up, they get attached to the stock, and they're like, oh, it's just going to keep going. It's going to keep going. And see what would have happened, like, if you would have held this. You would have ended up losing money on a trade that you could have doubled your money. So that's why these moving averages are so important. And obviously, that's a whole other story. But basically, we surf the moving average, let the moving average do the work. I try to take out as much emotion as possible. So it's not a matter of, oh, do I want to sell? Oh, is it a good time to sell? No, it's like, okay, once I'm up 5 times my risk. So that's my selling strip. My first trim, I trim once I'm up 5 times my risk. So I was risking 200. So once I was up $1,000, I trimmed 10% of the position. I think it was 10%. I might have done 20%, but I'm pretty sure I trimmed 10%. And so I secured some profit, moved the stop loss to break even. So now, on those 10 share, or the 10% of my shares that I sold, I secured probably like, I don't know, 50%, 60% profit on those. So that covers my position. So like I was even, right? So if it stops out, I don't lose money, and I actually made money because I secured profits. And then from there, we just surf the moving averages, let it go, and then once it closes below it, sell it, and you're good, and then you forget about it. You don't get attached to the stock. Don't try to buy back in. Don't be like, oh, buy the dip, because you see, if you would have bought the dip right here, you'd have just kept falling. So that's kind of a glimpse of the strategy, but it honestly is not. I mean, I've been studying it for a little bit now, so I don't think it's very confusing, but it's because I understand it. But it's not like it's not a day trading thing. I'm not on here, trying to get the little 1-minute moves and scalp and everything. No, I'm not doing any of that. It's, I have a strategy, I have rules, and I just follow it. So it's not even really me. It's, you kind of have to pretend like I'm a robot, and I'm just following the plan, the rules in my head, and I just do it as it happens. So it's not like, there's no guesswork, right? There's no, well, I don't know, like, should I sell it? No, it's like, okay, did it do this? Yes. Then I need to do that. Did it do this? No? Okay, then do this. And so that's how it has to be. Because if you've ever traded before, it can get very emotional, right? You see your money going all over the place, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I need to sell. Or you're like, let's go, I'm making so much money, this is going to hit the moon. And then it falls to the floor, and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I not sell? So you just want it to be as unemotional as possible. You don't want any emotions involved. You just want it to be rules and just stick to the rules. And that's the hardest part. Like I was telling someone the other day, it's not the strategy that's the difficult part. Finding a strategy that works is not the hard part. It's following the strategy. Nobody can follow a strategy because everyone gets so addicted to the money and they just want to make a ton of money. So then they put all their account or they over risk or, on most trades. On this trade, I risked less than 1% of my account, right? So I didn't have much risk. So if everything failed, my account was not going to be bothered. But then because of this, I'm pretty sure my portfolio was up. I don't even know. It was double-digit returns, percent-wise, in like 4 days, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? Most people in a year hope to get 10%, and I got more than that in 4 days. So that's the power of this. Obviously, you have to know what you're doing. There's more risk. I'm not saying it's just a super walk in the park, but it is crazy. I mean, the money potential is crazy. The returns you can get. I mean, there's been people that use this strategy and they get 900% plus. There's one guy who actually set the world record using this strategy. He turned 10,000 to 42 million in like 18 months, which was absolutely ridiculous. He was risking too much, but he was using the strategy, and I mean, I don't even want to know what percent return that was, but I mean, it's crazy. So it's just a matter of market conditions. When I was able to do this. The market hasn't been strong this year, and I was still able to get good returns on this. But when the market's not doing too well, when it's not hot, you're not going to make as many good trades, right? Because the market's, if it's not going up, a lot of stocks aren't going to be going up. So, but when you find smaller cap stocks that aren't, like under $10, it makes it a lot easier. And you're able to still execute and still profit on them, even if the market's overall isn't doing very well. But if I was trying to trade like Apple, Nvidia, stuff like that, like the big tech stocks right now, I would just be getting wrecked because the market's trash. I'm hoping it bottomed out, but you don't know. So yeah, so that's how I did it. I mean this, screenshot's real. It's pretty crazy the power that this has. And obviously you need money to make money, but you could start with any amount of money. Start studying. I mean, it's crazy the potential this has. And it's really not that. It's pretty simple. The hardest part is finding the stock that you want to buy, because the key part is buying the strongest one, right? Because you could find stocks all day long that are setting up and then they break out and you buy them. But if you want to make the most amount of money, like this is the way you think of it, is you have X amount of dollars in your account, right? You have a limited amount of money. You want to like capitalize on that as much as possible, right? You want the biggest move possible. You want to make as much money as possible in as little time as possible. So you want to find stocks that move fast, and you want to find stocks that are really strong and like the strongest in that group. So from AI, when the market wasn't doing too well, BBAI was holding up very well. It was strong. And so that's why we had our eye on it for a long time. And then when it broke out, it just absolutely went crazy. And this is the hourly chart. You can see we bought it this day, right? It broke out of here and it just went crazy. So that's kind of what I did. That's how I was able to make $2,400 in a day from my phone from doing nothing. It's kind of funny. Like I literally could have slept all day. I could have slept through the whole day, woke up the next day and been like, oh wow, I made $2,500 yesterday. Because it's fully automated. That's the beauty of swing trading. You don't really have to mess with it too much. And like if you guys saw my vlog, I was snowboarding on Friday, and I mean I did it in the morning. I bought a few positions. Let's actually check it out right now. I bought QBTS, or I think I already had QBTS, but you can see over here, this is the daily chart. I mean, we bought it when it broke out right here, and it's just gapping up like crazy. So it closed up here, so we're probably gonna have another gap up tomorrow, and it should, if it breaks out of this range, these previous highs, then it could just keep going absolutely crazy. And this is a quantum stock, so these are heating up again. Technology, tech, AI, all these different technology related stocks are just really strong. But yeah, so that's kind of a summary of how I was able to make $2,500 in a day from doing nothing. The stock market's beautiful. I mean, you're gonna have days where you lose money. You got to learn the strategy. It takes time, but once you figure it out, it genuinely is crazy. Like you can just print money. That's literally what it is. Now it's just a matter of building my account so that I can print more money every day, right? The more I have in my account, the more I'm going to make. So it's just a matter of trying to stack my account and keep letting my gains compound over and over and over and not touch that money. And so I could eventually be making, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 a day by doing the same thing. Because I'm going to do the same. Nothing changes, right? You have $1 million in your account or you have $1,000 in your account. You're doing the same strategy. It's just different numbers, a different amount of shares and all that. So it's just a numbers game. And so now it's just a matter of, all right, this strategy, I've got a strategy that works. I'm going to keep executing it, keep following the rules. And so it's just a matter of how can I get as much money as possible in my account, and how can I maximize that money the best way possible and minimize my risk as much as possible. And yeah, so I mean, you can get crazy returns, and that's how I was able to make $2,500 a day as a 19-year-old. This was, when I was still 19. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I know it's a little different. It wasn't very structured. There was no mindset stuff, but I just kind of want to talk about all areas of my life. And obviously this is a big area of my life. This is how I'm going to be making a lot of money. And once I move to Huntington, this is going to be how I make all my money. So I'm obviously, I have a detailing business if you don't know. So once I move, I'm obviously not going to be able to do that. So this is going to be my income, as well as, social media stuff. So if you guys enjoyed this, and you guys want more videos related to stock, swing trading, my method, my strategy, what I'm buying, my, what if I'm going over what I like for the week, stuff like that, comment below, because I don't know. This is kind of like a trial video. I don't know. Maybe this is going to go viral. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I just thought this would be pretty interesting because a lot of people are always looking for ways to make money online. And so this is how I do it. Yeah, so I'll have a new video tomorrow. Tomorrow will be another daily vlog. I'm going snowboarding again. I know I live a rough life. So I'll get up in the morning, trade, snowboard. It'll be a great day. So, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and I'll be back tomorrow with another one. So peace.